Well, hello, Internet friends. It's time for another rant. And, I'm sure you'll probably realize that a lot of my rants are almost repetitive. But, in today's America, it's easy to get repetitive because it's always the same shit, different day. Now, it seems to me like the Epstein files is not being talked about as much. Well, I want to talk about it because it's something we need to talk about. And as we all know, Trump ran on releasing the Epstein files. That was one of his big, promises he said he was going to do if he won, that he was going to release the Epstein files. Well, excuse me. Unfortunately, as we all know, he did win the election. He did win re-election, and he is now back in the White House, wreaking all kinds of havoc, like we all knew he would. But at the same time, the Epstein files, not all of the Epstein files, have been released. Some have. But the only reason for that was because of the discharge petition, and as we all know, that vote won in the House, and it was unanimous in the Senate. So it became law, and Trump reluctantly signed that law, or bill, into law. But he has done his level best to obstruct the release of the Epstein files. And of course, the former Attorney General Pam Bondi was doing everything in her power to obstruct the release of the Epstein files. And of course, the files that were released, they were over-redacted. And the names of the survivors weren't redacted. Now, and, the perpetrators' names were redacted. So, that just goes to show you where this administration's, excuse me, my hair is flying into my face. Where this administration's loyalties lie. And it's not with the American people. This administration's loyalties lie specifically and strictly with multi-millionaires and billionaires. Those are the only people that this administration cares about, and they're the only ones that, Trump has any inclination to protect. And of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has since resigned her seat in Congress, Trump talked to her and instructed her to take her name off of the discharge petition. And she said no, because these women have been hurt. And of course, Trump saw, well, my friends will get hurt. Here's the whole thing about it. He keeps going on and on and on about how he has nothing to do with Epstein, had nothing to do with Epstein. Epstein was a creep, but he kicked him out of his Mar-a-Lago golf resort club. And of course, we found out that that was a lie. And now, of course, we have Melania, who has also been named in those Epstein files, which I think Melania was a victim of Epstein. That's what I think. And because Trump is who he is, she's probably had to sign a NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and probably has some sort of a prenuptial agreement to not say anything about Epstein and Trump's role in Epstein's illegal empire. My own thoughts personally is Trump wasn't just friends with Epstein. I think Trump was a partner in Epstein's trafficking crimes and whatever else Epstein was doing that was illegal, like gun running and probably even drug running, and that's my opinion. That's what I think. I think Trump was he was in it up to his eyeballs. That's my own personal opinion. There's no proof at this moment, to say definitively. But if Melania were smart, she would start talking, and she'd start making deals, and she would do whatever she possibly could do to get away from Trump. Because Trump, if we all haven't figured out by now, Trump is an abusive person. Okay? His first wife, Ivana, accused him of rape in the marriage. Of course, when Trump was running for president the first time in 2016, she recanted that, but I believe that. Trump he's not a good guy. He's been a shithouse lucky guy. He's probably had one investigation after another looking into his nefarious activities. And I'm sure that he's got a lot. But again, there's no proof. That's just my opinion. And again, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it. 77 million people voted this piece of shit back in the White House, where he is robbing us blind. 77 million people knowing full well he's an adjudicated rapist, knowing full well that he was behind January 6, 2021, knowing full well that he would not rent to people of color, knowing all of this, and 77 million people still voted for him. Make that make sense. I mean, apparently there's 77 million people in this country that are either just as vile as Trump is, or they're way dumber than what Trump is. But 77 million people in this country, that's a lot of people. I mean, boggles the mind. And yes, I've said that before too. And then $1,776,000,000 for his lawsuit to pay insurrectionists. Okay, that's a bribe. If any of those people get any of that money, which I really doubt that they will, I think Trump will get all of it. But if they do, okay, that's a bribe. That's a, come when I call dog whistle for these people to redo January 6, 2021. That's my opinion. That's what I think. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. All we can do, all that we must do, is vote in overwhelming numbers in 2026 for the midterms and vote Democrat, vote for progressive Democrats, and get these Trump kiss asses out of Congress. That's what we must do. It's not a we should do it. No, it's a we must do it. I mean, there is a psychiatrist, his name is Dr. Gardner, something like that, who has basically said that if Trump has dementia, and it's looking more and more like he does, he fully expects Trump to launch a nuke. And, of course, Trump being how he is, we all know that Truman launched 2 against Japan, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So this Dr. Gardner believes that he will probably launch 3, just to one up. This man is a clear and present danger, not just to this country, but to the world, the entire planet. So we have to show up in November in numbers too big to rig and too real to steal. That's what I believe. Again, another rant. My opinion. If you got anything out of this content, if you like what I say, whatever, subscribe. Throw me some thumbs up. Like my videos. But I'm going to end it here. And my internet friends, please, take care of yourselves wherever you are.